There's a good reason the Behavioral Health Education Center of Nebraska's acronym is pronounced BEACON. By connecting students at all levels with behavioral health professionals and careers, it is lighting the path of behavioral health care access for Nebraskans. Please welcome Dr. Howard Liu, Director of Beacon, to accept the Changemaker Award for Champions of Training and Workforce Development. Congratulations.
Well, thank you so much. I'm going to start with just a brief exercise since it's a little bit further in the program. Let me just ask you, everyone here that works for an agency where you feel like you have enough workforce, I want you to raise your left hand. Hold it up high. So is there anyone out there? Now, for those of you who didn't raise your hand, I want to ask you a second question. For those of you who work for an organization where every time there's a birthday party, high school graduation, any event, you're trying to recruit anyone licensed, raise your hand. So seriously, that's the situation, right? So, we work in workforce, and a great leader, Rosalind Carter, once said, a leader takes people where they want to go, but a great leader takes people where they don't necessarily want to go, but where they ought to be. And when I first saw that quote, I thought they were talking about Nebraska, where I live. But it's having moved there now 7 years ago, I can tell you it's a wonderful place. And I tell you that one of the things we realize is that, working as a child psychiatrist, as a provider, I've come to believe that every family really should have access to a skilled and passionate mental health provider. But the challenge is that there are barriers. And depending on where you live, if it's a rural community, an urban underserved community, you're going to have problems finding somebody. You might wait 6 weeks, 3 months to get care for your loved ones. And that's a challenge for us. So at Beacon, the Behavioral Health Education Center in Nebraska, our mission is to inspire students from these very neighborhoods where there's no access to pursue and choose mental health careers. To get there, you really have to have a very clear pipeline of mentorship, conferences, training, and I would say really relationships to providers that are currently from those communities and loving what they do, and they're passionate about their jobs. So at Beacon, we've been lucky enough over the last 5 to 6 years to touch about 2,000 students from high school to college into graduate behavioral health license programs. And in the last 2 years, we've actually more than doubled the national average of medical students choosing psychiatry. So, tonight, I want to actually, thank you, but I want to dedicate this award to 2 strong women. One is one of our founders, Mrs. Rhonda Hawks, who helps us to see really that students are the future of behavioral health. The second is my wife, who's a family physician, but every day understands that we need to integrate from primary care to mental health. And that's one of the key things we have to do as a group here tonight. So I'll wrap up just to say that these students and these providers in our mentorship programs have inspired me to dream of a future where access to mental health is a universal right, and that's truly where I hope our country will be. Thank you very much.